Yo guys, what's going on? It's Rose here, bringing you guys week 4 of our FBL Season 6 championship run. We're facing off against DarthRunyon, coach of the Miraculous Marauders, or excuse me, Miraculous Murderers. In this week, we actually have a new team member. We ended up trading away Melmetal. There was a takeover from a different team, and they had a mon that I've used before, and I was like, you know what? This mon actually fits my team a lot better, I think. And we ended up trading away Melmetal for Celesteela. So we didn't really get to use Melmetal, like, at all. I think we brought it to our first game, but it didn't even touch the field, I don't think. So, kind of unfortunate we didn't really get to use it, but that's okay. I think Celesteela's going to do a little bit better for us. Funny thing, when I was looking up nicknames for the Celesteela, because I couldn't think of anything, and I wanted to do something different because Skyfall or anything like that just didn't seem, I don't know, I didn't like it as much. I was pulling up a website, I think it was like a Reddit thread or something, and one of the nicknames was Muffin. So welcome Muffin the Celesteela to our team. I'm very excited for this. Anyways, so DarthRunyon, they have Naganadel, Mega Diancie, Cinderace with Libero, but it has a restriction. Basically, he can run Libero if he does not run U-turn. If he runs U-turn, it has to be Blaze Cinderace, so that is the stipulation with the Cinderace. And he's got Rotom Wash, Skarmory, Palisand, Necrozma, Zarude, regular Pinsir, Torracat, and Dunsparce. When I was prepping for this team, I was prepping with a couple of buddies, I think, and I essentially said, this is my worst matchup. I do not like my matchup at all in this game. I did not like it. I still don't really like the matchup. But that's alright. So, we ended up playing the game. I'm going to go ahead and go over our team real fast. You guys know our team. Obviously, now that we have Celesteela, we have that as a difference, but that's okay. So now we have, this week, we're bringing Alibaba, the Hoopa Unbound with the heavy-duty boots, Dark Pulse, Psychic, Energy Ball, and Nasty Plot. The speed, I think it was to outspeed, like, Naganadel if webs are up. I think that's what it's for. And then maximum, because, honestly, if we were able to get webs up, because if the Diancie doesn't come in as a Mega and we get webs up with Slurpuff, then Hoopa will basically be able to outspeed pretty much everything, and Nasty Plot 3 attacks with this coverage, 2-hit KOs everything on the team, I think. So it definitely had a really good matchup. It's very slow compared to a lot of the mons in this team, but that's okay. Next up, of course, if we're gonna bring webs, we need something to set them, so Slurpuff, Cupcake the Slurpuff, leftovers with the Unburden ability, Sticky Web, Draining Kiss, Flamethrower, and Energy Ball. Pretty much kind of the same thing. 3 attacks plus Sticky Web really does a lot of damage. And then we brought the speed, again, to outspeed Naganadel after the webs were up. It might have been for Mega Diancie. One of the two, but regardless. Nothing crazy here. Flamethrower for the Skarmory, Energy Ball for Mega Diancie, and Rotom Wash, Draining Kiss just for general Fairy Stab, something like the Zarude doesn't like those. Next up, we got Kebia Berry Coco. Now, obviously, this, you can see, is for the Naganadel, that we can take a Sludge Wave or something. You turn T-Bolt, D-Gleam, and Grass Knot. Grass Knot was really just for the Rotom Wash and the Palisand. Speed was to outspeed Naganadel regularly, not having to worry about Sticky Webs or anything like that. Nothing crazy here. We have Mega Kangaskhan, Body Slam, Power Punch, Ice Punch, EQ with enough speed. Let's see, 296 would outspeed, I think, like a Pinsir, I think, is what the speed is for, is to outspeed Pinsir. I think that's what it's for. But regardless, if we get Sticky Webs up, we outspeed everything. And this thing, if we can get a Power Punch up, and we have webs up, this thing kind of just wins the game. It's a very, very, very good mon in this matchup, so long as we get webs up. If we can't get webs up, this obviously becomes a much harder game. But if we get webs up, it's going to be much easier to deal with a lot of his mons. Next up, we got Tyndall, our Cryogonal, Freeze Dry, Flash Cannon, Rapid Spin, Recover, Max Speed, Max Special Attack, Offensive Cryogonal, basically to match the speed of Zarude. Nothing crazy there. Freeze Dry, just kind of general coverage for everything not named Cinderace. It hits pretty decently. And, of course, our newest member to the team, we have Muffin the Celesteela. Mixed defense. I believe the special defense investment is that we take 3. We have to take 2 or 3 power gems from the DNC. We also take the same amount of Diamond Storms if it wants to do that instead. Flamethrower, Giga Drain, Flash Cannon, and Leech Seed. Pretty standard coverage on a Celesteela, really. I mean, no Air Slash on this, which we don't really need Flying Stab, I didn't think, because there's so many resists, because you got, you know, Skarmory, Rotom, and DNC as the resist there. So I didn't think Flying Stab was that necessary in this game, and just the coverage we were able to get with the other moves just kind of covers that. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into the battle. Now, we lead Coco. We pretty much lead Coco every week because it's the fastest mod on our team, and it's just easy to get a U-turn off. We do get a crit U-turn. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really tell us anything. It doesn't tell him anything, so the crit essentially did nothing in that turn. We go right into Muffin, and we hit up the Leech Seed. He U-turns out. I don't know exactly why. He goes into a Cinderace, though. And we're going to go ahead and just go right into Coco. We don't need Coco. It's not very important here. And we're just going to Grass Knot, do 9%, which tells me that this is a pretty specially defensive Rotom. We go into Cryogonal. We get the Rapid Spin off. We do get Thunder Waved, which is fine. Honestly, it doesn't really matter if this thing gets saddest. So we get a Freeze Dry off. This thing's at essentially half, and that's amazing for us. We sack off Cryogonal because really we don't have a switch in, and it's just something we didn't need at that point because it did its job. It got rid of T-Spikes from the Naganadel, and that's really all we needed it for. It wasn't something that was going to be in the long haul. So we take the Pyro Ball, and we Sticky Web here on this turn. Now on this turn, I go into Hoopa, partially because we don't really need Hoopa, but also if he's running a U-turn, we'll find out now, and that actually helps us out because first of all, it's not going to be Libero, which is good for us, but also that means we can get a free switch into Kangaskhan, and at this point, Kangaskhan, because of the fact that Rotom Wash is so low, Kangaskhan is really, really, really good. Obviously, speaking of Rotom Wash, he goes into that. We go into Kangaskhan, and we Body Slam, get rid of this thing. Obviously, knowing that, looking at Calx, you'd see that that was a very specially defensive Rotom. Had a little bit of Fizz Def, but not much. He goes into Cinderace, hits the Super Fang, which I thought was interesting. I thought he was going to have like High Jump Kick or something. Doesn't end up having it. And obviously you can see it didn't get the speed drop, which tells us it was Boots. Doesn't really matter too much. Zarude does come in. I go into Celesteela because I know I'm not killing that thing right now, and I want to get rid of it if I can. He goes into Palossand. I kind of just hit the Leech Seed because I don't think he's staying in anyways. He tries to trick me, but because we have a Mega Stone, we cannot be tricked, which is good for us. I'm not sure what the item was on the Palossand. We get the pair with Body Slam. Kind of matters, kind of doesn't. We outspeed anyway, but I think he would have used it differently if he wasn't poisoned. He does end up taking the Ice Punch, which obviously tells us he's a little bit defensive. And then here, I Power Up Punch, and we end up getting rid of the Zarude, and now we're at +2 attack. And at this point, he doesn't have a great switch in. Like, look at that, 87% to Necrozma. If he was physically defensive, he would have lived that, I think. But I think he was a Meteor Beam set, so goes into Palossand. We get rid of it because of Ice Punch, and then Naganadel comes in, and we click Body Slam, and it's just gone. So we definitely knew what our game plan was. We went in, we executed that game plan pretty much perfectly. He ended up saying that apparently his Cinderace had Taunt, and if he had clicked it on the Slurpuff on the turn he Pyroballed, he probably would have won, which is true. But that's okay. Hey, we'll take it, right? We'll take it. Kangaskhan comes in super clutch for us this week, and I'm so happy. Kangaskhan has done so well for us, and right now, as I'm saying this, it's currently like in the middle of week 5. Kangaskhan is #1 on kill leaders right now. It's 9-1 because of this game. It's tied for first with I think it's the Latios from Helix's team from last week. So definitely some strong competition. But regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of your guys' hair. Go ahead, follow all my social medias down in the description, Discord, Twitch, and Twitter. All that fun stuff. Keep up to date with any content, updates, and all those fun things. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of your guys' hair. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.